Hey everyone, Stephen Chong. It's so great to be joining you here in Denver, Colorado. How's everyone doing today? Ready for some aquascaping? All right. I'd rather wait for the expanding foam to have a little, have time to dry. But yeah. So I have to take my tools out. So the reason why these were here is so that they can be jammed in place as needed. And I ended up not needing any of this. Oh, actually, now I realize what I could have done, Tommy, to save your arms some extra help. I could have pulled a strap of tape, taped this side, come under the rock and tape this side, and have the tape hold it up. This is strong enough to do that. Well. My bad. I forgot about that technique. Yeah. Soil? Yeah. Oh, and if you are using soil additives, they're really not necessary, but this is the point that you would put them in, on top of these pebbles. Go-to plant? I think Monte Carlo and HC, Java moss are the three that sew any aquascape together. Especially with these workshops, there's so many nice types of moss, but I'd go with Java just because I know that thing is going to be stuck on there months afterwards. They have a strong grip. They no one can kill them. I look here, I see, the condition of the plants in Tommy's shop are fantastic, so no need to worry about picking difficult ones. But even, you could just forget it. And then some places are just so dark that you want to shove Java moss or Seswastotang in there anyway. Actually, I love Seswastotang. I need to get myself more. I had so much in Japan. I don't have any now. It just keeps multiplying. It's super easy. You can't kill it. There are so many aquascapes where just part of the tank was not where I wanted it in terms of maturity. Of course, if you get Seswastotang to grow in naturally and mature, it makes such a nice, beautiful plume. But even if you rip off a chunk and shove it in somewhere, it still looks like it's been there forever. So that's a tip. So the cool part about this layout now is that this side is dark, powerful impact, right? So this side can be the more relaxed, recessed side. Or the way I'm imagining the cenote is there are some cenotes where there's an overhang, and then on the other side, it really is more like a riverbank, and plants are growing in, and the sun is flowing in. So this is the place you would plant some of those lilies. And there are just more variety of plants to come out here. You need some a little bit over here, the same species. If I planted some stem plants over here, I need a little bit over here. But generally, this is the area where you're going to express it's an underwater world. This is the environment for fish and plants, and this is the dark space in contrast to it. Yeah, I actually feel that's too high. So I'm gonna do this. That's the height. We want the initial plant rock to go to. Some of the biggest challenges facing the aquascaper. The biggest challenge to overcome for me was just deciding that I was going to do it. Because you see how much time and effort goes into this, right? How much you have to push yourself. So the decision to do it, and just at the beginning, there's so many things that are new, but you cannot give up at anything new. You have to see it a challenge. So I say that continuing to preserve motivation is always the biggest challenge. Otherwise, there are skill sets that I could improve on, things I want to learn more of, especially around plant condition and stuff. But some of that is just knowing not every person and not every water condition is going to work well with every set of plants unless you are really good at adjustments like Dennis is. But every plant that you do try and you do get to go well for you is another tool in your toolkit. So the more aquascapes you do, the more things you add to your toolkit. I'm confident with Pinatophyta now, and I'm confident with Myriophyllum now. And I know that if I use red Myrio, it comes out this way. So expanding that toolkit will help you imagine new scapes as well. For me, the continued challenge with that is just, again, finding time and energy to keep giving the plants the time and attention that they need. Once the water is in and you're running this, your relationship with the aquarium is kind of like a relationship with a significant other. It's like, how much time are you going to make for them, right? We can go on a date this week, but maybe not next week. I got a work shift. Can you chill out? In exchange, like all of Sunday, I'm gonna do 5 water changes. Okay, we're gonna spend 5 hours of maintenance. Right? So you cannot be on point with maintenance all the time. That's just not realistic. But knowing yourself, knowing the aquarium, and like learning to know when and how you're gonna get back to your significant other is a key skill of life. Yeah, no, I don't really like that. Okay, so what we're really trying to do is get a zigzag going. My thinking is that we might need to take that piece of styrofoam out of the way in order to get. But okay, so like to make the left side that's going to interact with this side, I want to zig, zag, zig. We don't want it to just be a block triangle on this side, and we don't want it to be, like just wrapping back gently like this. We want it to come forward, then back, then forward again. And this guy's in the way. So I originally invented this technique in anticipation of this type of problem for the live contest in China. Because at home, I would have just stacked bricks on top. Which is another good way to do it. Fukaura-san invented that technique. After I started using styrofoam, though, I never went back. Because like, the great thing about this is I knew that I couldn't bring a whole suitcase of bricks with me to China. And I also couldn't afford the time to stack them up gently. So with this, you just grab it and shove it in, right? But after I got used to doing this, I thought, oh, this is better than the bricks. Forget that. So even the god of aquascaping can have his techniques improved on. All right, so the question is how to zig from here to here. This actually needs to be that long, right? So.
I don't know how, that's how you measure it.
Yeah, about 第一讲 about. I mean, I tried this and I didn't like it before, but we're going to go with it again. But it's true that, like, saying that number 1 is your goal is different from saying, oh, it would be nice for that to happen.
It's lonely up there.
Between someone who says, I'm going to be number 1, and someone who says, it would be nice to be, it would be nice to be number 1. There's a fundamental difference in personality, in strength. And even if you don't get there, right? I mean, there's things that you learn and grow. Like, the last 3 years, I haven't even been able to get back in the top 100 of IAPLC. The contest scene is evolving, and there's other contests to care about and be fascinated with. So I'm less attached to just the IPLC at this point in my life. But that said, desire to be number 1 for sure hasn't changed. I think because I don't write creative. I don't write blogs or make banners or design things for any of our campaigns. But I think what is overlapping between this and marketing from my job as a demand strategist who works with campaigns but really works with the pipeline planning of a campaign, because the message is important, and then constructing the campaign and like pushing those who are working on content to move towards clarity. That is the same, to be very intentional, to have a strong, what is the one message? Not the 5 messages, the one message. And how does everything in the campaign, from the landing page to the business development plan, to all of those things, how do they all fit into the goal of achieving clarity for ease of consumption for the consumer, for the target audience of the campaign? Oh, what are the other contests I want to enter? I'd say KIAC is the number one that has my attention right now. The Korean International Aquascaping Contest. It's always a big deal when the sponsor is willing to bring folks in. So like if you place, I think, was it the top 3? But if you place in the top ranks of the KIAC, they'll actually bring you out to Seoul and have like on-site contests and different types of events. So that is a huge attraction, right? On top of the prize money. But I would say IIAC by Taiwan's ISTA would be the number 2, the top contest to care about and focus on after IAPLC. But I believe that they said that next year they're not going to be able to. Tommy told me that I might be wrong about that, so we'll have to check. Definitely, if they're running, I would participate. The nice thing about the non-IAPLC contest scene is that they don't claim the rights for your work, and they say you are allowed to enter into other contests. Whereas IAPLC, you got to be careful. You're only able to enter it into the ADA acknowledged contests. And then CIPS, the China International Pet Show contest I mentioned before, they took a break, hiatus, and then they recently published the results for their 2022. It's hard to follow when contests take a break, so I can't remember perfectly. But that said, that's another big contest, and if they had never taken a break, I would put them up with the Taiwanese contest, ISTA. So, but they're coming back in full force now, so something to watch and pay attention to. I'll definitely enter that one. And if you rank number 1 in your country, you'll also get an invitation to the China International Pet Show in Guangzhou or Shanghai. Yeah. And if you ever get the chance, I definitely recommend it because, dang, it's like it is a very cool experience. And the Chinese fish market or the Chinese fish industry in and of itself is something really different. Very unique experience for Americans, I'd say. It's like a whole different scale of, yeah. Okay, because the thing is, this side doesn't have to have as much weight, doesn't have to have as much impact. So I can afford to just sit something neatly on top of it. The question is, do I have a piece that sits neatly on top of it? Yeah. Yeah, that works.
Creatively, do you ever hit a wall?
Oh, of course, yeah. Getting outside stimulus is always good. One thing I could recommend is watching terrarium tube or saltwater tube, or like some, correlated but not quite. Looking at some landscape pictures, going out into nature, of course, is another answer I could give. Yeah, I think it's different for every person, but find a different pace to get on for a little bit. Has anyone heard of the YouTube channel Ants Canada? He's one of my favorite terrarium tubers, but the episode I really like is, I think it's called like the introduction of the death sprites or something. It's an episode where he's turning one of his terrariums into one that has a pond feature, and he's putting in these frogs that are meant to like kill off some of the ants that are like sick with mites that he wants to get rid of. But what I really like about that episode is there's a part where he's sitting alone in his shower at 3 a.m, full of frogs. He's just waiting for the silicone to dry. And I'm like, oh, I understand your pain, Mikey. I feel seen. Yeah, you're gonna run up into times when you're just up at, you're doing an all-nighter and like things aren't going well and you're just like trying to find relief as you just finished a big part of some giant fix. Like in my 2018 World Rank 5 Aquascape, all of the rocks that were on the left side wall fell down like at different points because my gluing skills weren't that good yet. And I had to re-glue inside of a wet aquarium. Yeah, there was a part at that point where I was just exhausted. So I was so inexperienced and having so much trouble like finishing up during my 2017 World Rank 525 Aquascape. My first serious attempt. Obviously the result is not that great, but I'm still proud of the scape. But because there were so many things I was fixing for afterwards that I didn't have enough experience with, the week before the photo shoot, I was sleeping probably 3 hours a night. And then the 2 days before, I didn't sleep at all. And I was just working and working the whole time. I could feel my body giving away. Like, I felt like I was going to die. I was just totally exhausted. But like I said, those are the type of moments that were informed by the fact that I had decided this is what I'm gonna do. So I don't care. But I was like literally dying. Ono-san came in and helped me with my photo shoot that year, and he like literally pulled me across the finishing line, like I feel like physically almost. It wouldn't have come together at the end if he hadn't been there. But after that photo shoot, I slept for 18 hours.
Any tips for like gluing in like wet conditions or repairing scapes that have been damaged?
Yeah, just go in and do it. Oh yeah, you have to drain the tank for sure. But my tip is that you cannot be afraid. In 2018, when I was the World Rank 5 Aquascape again, I actually redid the entire foreground a week before the photo shoot. Because if you look in the hardscape picture, if you go on Insta, it's now my most recent post, there's a picture of just the hardscape. There's this nice rock wall, not wall, but like a rock assembly. It's kind of similar to what Tommy's got in his contest tank over there. But the idea was like, I'm going to show a hole here in the middle, and so there has to be a ledge on this side, right? But the thing with that design is it doesn't have what a lot of our diorama contests, like the standard technique does have, which is like an opportunity to show off. Like here, all in the front of the aquascape, there's all this open space where I can like do detailed planting and detailed pebble work and like really show off my skills in terms of detail design and also scale creation. The hardscape I have in that layout, the original hardscape doesn't allow for any of that, okay? Shito-san pointed that out to me and he said, you have to show off your skills, Steven, at this point in your career, I think. So I removed all of the rocks. I turned it into a sand foreground, replanted the sand foreground with plants that had matured elsewhere in the aquarium. And boom, World Rank 5. Afterwards, Josh saw the original hardscape. He's like, why did you take it out? The original hardscape got your original idea off so much better. It's so much, I like it so much more. I'm like, yeah, but I had no idea. Like, would you change what you did now with that opinion from Josh Sim? Probably not, because like sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes you're just meant to do things in a certain way. That is solid. This guy ain't moving anywhere. Oh, okay. The foam is pretty tough at this point. I think we can, bro. Go ahead, let go, Tommy.
I haven't let go yet.
Wait, here, I'll hold on to this one. Yeah, go ahead, let go. At the very least, I'll block it with my hand so it doesn't smash the aquarium. Go ahead, let go. Oh, okay. Okay. Yay!
Don't shake it.
Though we could put some more foam in here if we wanted to.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna remove that so it's for the flow of the water.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Smart move, dude. Smart move, Tommy. Okay. All right. Let me take a picture of that.
Defying gravity. That's 60 pounds.
Never fear. You have to overcome your fear. I guess like that would be the other thing that you need to go from a good aquascaper to a great one.
Get your face out.
You have to remove your fear. I really like this one. And it's gonna go in right here.
I feel like I need to stand here somehow. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, I get it. So, two things placing this rock. It's kind of kind of has to sit. I don't want it to be like too dramatic. I want it to be more like, compared to this guy, this one has to be much more relaxed. Okay? And this rock has to feel like it's behind this one. Those are the two things we have to care about. Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah, pour all of it right here. Yeah, no, I think. And you remember what I said about making the place where the soil and the rock touch each other dynamic? So it's like, it's not straight and flat, but this is like, no. But it's like swooping, it's coming in and out. But you do want it to be relatively low here in the back, because the lower this can be, the more contrast it has with the big main stone. But we have lots of mid-ground for this soil to come into. That's why I knew the whole bag would go in. If anything, there will be more soil that goes into this aquarium at the end. Okay. Yeah, that looks real good. Okay. So I want one more stone that comes up here and has height. So what I'm going to do is get some more tape. And we are going to use the black here, two-sided black, because this has got to come higher than this one, which means that it's going to be visible here. So I cannot use the white reflective. And like, if you find that you put too much on and you need to remove some later, what I would do is wait for this to get wet, wait for the water to fill, and then use an X-Acto knife and cut off the excess. Once it's in underwater, like, this will not move if you never try to remove it, but it'll be easier to pull away if you do. So in all of the hardcore, heavy aquascapes I've done up until now, I've never had the issue of the tape coming off the glass partway through the aquascape, unless I was trying to remove it. So yeah, I'd never be afraid of the tape falling off and the rest of the hardscape coming with it, for instance. Just for good measure, I'll put one back here. So when this reflects onto the glass, it'll just look like shadow, the shadow that the hardscape is making. And like this sticks onto anything, so try not to touch it because it'll come with your finger, but this plastic that is meant to go on top of it doesn't stick to the glue of this tape, so you can use it to push it down. Let's see. Okay, so what I need to do is put a rock that comes on top of here and goes there, but I'm just gonna make a little bit more width for myself in back here. So now that that black layer is on, I don't have to worry about white reflections on the glass. So I can put this kind of regular tape behind to give myself a little bit more attach area. All right. Okay. Now, what rock should connect from here to there? And I just realized that I haven't glued this rock in place. So, take a small one, fit it here, and take some of this. It doesn't have to be toilet paper for everything. For this type of low-key placement, just gluing on top of some gravel like this would be fine. This is essentially like concrete, you know. When you have like basically sand in there. Now that won't move. And what to place on top of this guy? Oh, hey. Another reason why you always want to have more, not less, right? Because you want to have options. What about this? Nope. The trick is getting enough shadow to have contrast, but also placing the stone so that it can look relaxed. Thanks. Now, the only thing I don't like about this is this lip here. What I'm actually going to do is continue it into the back like that. And now we're getting into the much smaller stuff. So like the easy thing for me to want to do would be to go like this. So it's just like connecting up on top. But I think it adds one more layer of interest if this stone goes into the back. So it's guiding the eye into the background. And so the adjustment I just did, if I do this, it's sitting flat. And I do want it to be mostly at peace because it's in contrast to this, but just making this slight angle creates this little lip underneath the rock that will give a bit more contrast and make even more movement inside the overall design. So especially in a river aquascape, like in a river, water tends to cut away at the bottom of the rock. This is something that Ono-san told me to really pay attention to when I made Amano-gawa, is that the water is going to cut away under here. So if you have stone top to bottom solid, it actually doesn't feel like there's water flowing. But if there's like pockets where it feels like the water has cut away, leaving the higher part of the rock above it, then you can feel the motion of huge water coming through. Yeah. And what I'm gonna do is this will disappear into the soil here, but then reappear over here to make the last view area in the back. So we're getting into the really small stuff, but okay. Probably stones like this-ish. And cool thing, most of this is dark Seiru, but this part you can actually use lighter Seiru. Because the idea is that darker in the front, but the farther things are, the brighter they become. So again, using lighter sand or brighter colored rocks near the back can actually make things feel even farther away. So small size, brighter color, those are the types of things to think about. Okay, no. So you see, it's gonna be like this stone disappears into the soil here and then reappears over here. And at this point, we're having fun. We're doing detail work at this point. So this is you've baked the cake and now you get to put frosting on top. Okay, so I think what we can do is this can be buried into it more. And realistically, at this point, there's nothing for me to glue these rocks onto. So unless we want to super glue all of the soil in the back, which we actually could do. Yeah, there's no way to hold them in that position permanently. But, we can just, that's fine. In nature aquarium, not everything has to be held together permanently, right? And especially for these, because you could adjust them again. So easy to do, right? Even the day before the photo shoot. So that's not really a problem. If I wanted to make even one layer behind there, I could take stuff like this and put it on this side. So it's this zigs down and that zags even behind there. So it's I don't know if you'd want to, there's a certain point where you're do you really need to do that much? But you could, this does work in theory. You can put a stone like this here and then some really little ones like this. And then you have a layer that's even behind this one. So it goes So, yeah. If you brought this one out here. And this is the size of the rock that you'd want to be using at this point, It's and to make it more natural, I'd actually just grab a bunch of pebbles and throw them in right before the photo shoot. But yeah, that kind of idea, more or less. But yeah, and I might take a picture like that just to have it on me for Instagram or whatever, but you really don't need it. But see, even when you're adjusting this one here, you want to create, oh, go for it, Nami. Yeah, the idea is you would make a shadow with those little pebbles too. But we're I want to say 99% done with the hardscape. Yeah. Do you think you could fill this whole area with foam, man? Yeah, the black foam. All right. And the only thing that we're missing is this area in front. I want to extend this line out a little bit more to about here so that we're really zigzag, zigzag. So the part that Tommy's filling with foam, if you could fit a rock like this in, this would look so sick there. Yeah, but let's see here. Nope. Yeah, you were great, man. Thank you. I couldn't have done this without you. This is probably too big, but just experimentation.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too much. I just wanted to see. Oh, that's certainly interesting. Yeah, I think a little bit too much. Okay. Maybe together. Let me see here. Oh, that's, yeah. Okay. Well, let me try these two first. Two together like this. Nah, that's too big. I do think that, yeah, Tommy, that's perfect. This is what we want. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfect. Really nice. And then what I would do is, like this spot here, will fill. This spot here. And like these rocks are super stable, so you don't really need to glue them in place. You're not giving them support. You're just basically leaving a bookmark. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. That is it.
Good job.
And you know we're really having fun at the point where we're just adding stuff like this in. So like I would actually do a sand foreground on this, but what I would actually do is just plant Monte Carlo and then let it grow in, and then right before the contest, rip out the places that I feel I don't need and put sand in there. What that will do is, you know, more plants means that more quick development, maturity of the aquarium, and also I see this little bit of detail adds so much, right? And just dropping it in is actually a good thing because it makes everything feel more natural than if you try to force it too much. And what we're really doing is we're extending the toes of the zigzag. So it's like zig, zag, zig, zag. Fukatta-san loves these kinds of road zigzags, but not that every scape needs one, but what it does do is add movement to the foreground, right? And you can see like being able to create this flat this perfectly flat foreground from one side all the way to the other. This is the skill. This is like, I mean, you're not going to maintain that way up until the end of the aquascape, but in the final, before the photo shoot, this is the kind of adjustment you do to bring things up to the final high level. So you see, my problem when I was trying to get things to fit well, this rock is not big enough. So it needs to be attached to rocks like this to make it feel bigger than it actually is. Because for a tank this size, this rock is still too small to be the main zone without help. Yeah, plants. So things to pay attention to. This, I really want to make it look like a rock and feel like a rock. I think we got that rockiness out of it. But also it has, if this is too weak, then this becomes weak too. So this has to be strong, but not too strong, in order to give this its full voice. And it has to feel like it's in front, which is why you have this bright area in the middle. There's a distinct break from this shadow here to the bright here. to the main stone in the back, that creates this space, this flow, and gives this stone like that anti-gravity, huge impact type of feeling that it has. Like, in other words, if this was all black, here, you can actually just do this. Oh. If you made this all dark and you killed all the detail in the middle, now it just looks like one blob of a rock, right? So that's why I've mentioned this motion, this fast line, this speed here is what's going to make this rock really the feeling that this line extends behind here, that this space continues to go on, is what allows this to feel like so massive. Yeah, we're good. Thank you all for coming.